All right, today we are diving into a classic Norse tale about a very special and, well, very troublesome creature, the sacred squirrel. So here's the big question that really kicks off our whole story. We're about to meet a messenger who was, yeah, blessed by the gods, but was also, let's just say, terribly bad at his job. Okay, so to really get what's going on, you gotta picture the scene. Imagine this single tree, but it's so huge, so vast, that its sacred bark literally touches all 9 realms of Norse mythology. And this tree, it has a name, Yggdrasil. You have to understand, this wasn't just any tree. It was the absolute center of the cosmos, the pillar holding up all of creation, stretching from the deepest underworld all the way up to the highest heavens. Now, at the very top and the very bottom of this world tree lived 2, let's say, very powerful beings. High up in the branches, you had the great eagle, and way down, deep in the roots, lived the great serpent, Nidhogg, whose whole job was to punish the worst of the worst. And who's the one scurrying up and down between these 2 giants? Well, that's our guy, Ratatoskr. When he was just a little thing, Odin himself blessed him, giving him that fox-red fur and those elegant horns. This sacred mark meant he was the only creature who could travel up and down Yggdrasil. His job? To carry messages. But let's be real, his real passion was causing a bit of chaos. So, our story really kicks off one morning. Ratatoskr is all grumpy, just been dragged out of his nice warm bed, and he gets summoned by the great eagle for what he figures must be some super important celestial news. But this was the message. Seriously? That's it. The eagle wanted him to run all the way down the entire world tree just to tell the serpent that nothing was going on. You can imagine Ratatoskr was not exactly thrilled. A boring message for a boring job. But, as he's grumbling his way down the trunk, a little spark of an idea starts to form in that mischievous mind of his. A boring message? Nah, why not spice it up a little? Make it more interesting. This was his chance to have some fun. So he zips down to the roots, finds Nidhogg writhing around like a bowl of noodles, and instead of the real message, he busts out this little singing telegram, pretending it's from the eagle. He even added a little "na na na na" just to rub it in. And Nidhogg was furious. I mean, absolutely livid. He couldn't believe the eagle would say something so insulting. He coils himself up in a rage, so tight that his sacred branch of the world tree itself just snaps under the pressure. He tells Ratatoskr to deliver a message back. Don't send another one unless you have something nice to say. Now, Ratatoskr was a little let down that Nidhogg didn't fire back with his own insult, so he thinks, fine, I'll just do it myself. He scrambles back up the tree, faster than a frost giant with his pants on fire, and delivers this new made-up song to the eagle, acting like it's straight from Nidhogg. And the eagle's reaction? Just as angry. She clenches her talons so hard that the branch she's on snaps clean in half. And then she declares she's not speaking to that serpent again until he apologizes. So Ratatoskr, just laughing his little head off the whole way, zips back down the tree. He tells Nidhogg the eagle sent an apology of sorts, and then launches into his third and probably most insulting song yet, all completely fabricated, of course. And that was the last straw. Nidhogg is so enraged he can barely speak. He decides, all right, that's it. If that bird thinks she can get away with this, I'm going to go up there and give her a piece of my mind, face to face. The prank has officially spiraled out of control. Ratatoskr suddenly realizes, uh-oh, the fun's over, because if they actually talk to each other, his whole scheme is going to fall apart. He tries to outclimb the serpent, but it's no use. Just as he gets to the middle of Yggdrasil, the eagle swoops down from above, and the serpent slithers up from below, and bam, they meet right there. Ratatoskr tries to play peacemaker, hey guys, can't we all just get along? But they completely ignore him. The argument just erupts. How dare you insult my feathers, the eagle screeches. And the serpent hisses back, you dared to insult my shape. You maligned my beak. You said my scales looked like a fish. And then everything just stops. There's this moment of confusion. The eagle pauses. Wait a second, she says, I didn't say anything about your scales. The serpent is like, and I never said a word about your feathers. They both realize the insults they heard don't match up. So if they didn't insult each other, who did? And in that exact same instant, both of their heads whip around to find the one little creature who'd been in the middle of this the whole time. Ratatoskr had already started trying to, just quietly slip away into the branches, but it was way too late. He was busted. Nidhogg's body just snaps out and coils around the little guy. The eagle leans in, her beak getting way too close for comfort, and trapped, Ratatoskr just squeezes his eyes shut and starts squealing, "I'm sorry, I just thought it would be funny. Please don't eat me. I'll taste funny too." And right then, just as it looks like it's all over for our squirrel prankster, he realizes he hasn't been eaten. He peeks one eye open, and there, sitting on the branch right between the giant eagle and the giant serpent, glowing with power, is Odin himself, the All-Father, with this little knowing smile on his face. Odin kinda lets out a laugh, but then his face gets serious. He looks right at Ratatoskr and lays down the law. "You can't cause this much trouble just because you're bored. Next time," he says, "I'll let them eat you for real. Now, do you promise to behave?" "You bet," Ratatoskr promised. He promised over and over. So, with a clap of his hands, Odin sends everyone back to their proper places to keep the 9 realms in balance. Nidhogg slithers back down to the roots. The great eagle soars back up to the top, and Ratatoskr, well, he scurries back to his little home inside the tree. And once he's home, he gets into his pajamas and tucks himself into bed. The trouble for the day was done. I mean, he'd caused a major cosmic incident, nearly became a snack, and gotten a personal lecture from the Allfather. But hey, now it was time for sleep. After a day like that, narrowly escaping being torn apart by 2 mythical beings, you'd think he would have learned his lesson. But as Ratatoskr drifted off to sleep, you gotta wonder, what new mischief was he already dreaming up for tomorrow?